Hi, and welcome to episode 3 of the Chaotic World of Mom Life. My name is Christina,
I'm Holly.
and today we're going to be talking about postpartum. So, Holly's going to share her postpartum journey with us, and then I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to talk about the different things that go along with postpartum after having your babies and, all the things that go along with it and
The joy of it.
that the joy and when you feel like what you're going through is not normal. It's normal, very normal.
Righty. So I have two different postpartum journeys. My first one was back in 2019 with my oldest. Had her in January. Went back to work in March, but was told baby blues are normal. They happen like the first 2, 3 weeks. All was good.
Yeah,
I knew nothing was normal.
right.
I was crying a lot. I just felt weird and just off and not normal. But I was told, you're fine, everything's fine. Like, just stay busy. That's it.
Who told you that you were fine?
My mom, my husband, a few friends,
Yeah.
but
But you felt like you're like generally like you just felt unwell.
yeah, I just did not feel normal.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe it's just because at the time my mom was working full time, so I had no help and also kept telling myself, like, you can do this on your own. You don't need to ask for help. Like, you're not supposed to be having help. You're a mom now.
Right. And that's the biggest thing too. Like I feel like like our parents are just, a little bit more old school. They didn't have as much help. So they're like, well, you should be able to do it on your own, like you're a mom. And
Hmm.
it's yes, you can, but you shouldn't have to. And it just makes everything that much harder.
Yes. And then Chris working full time, he would come home and I'd be like, oh, yes, he's home. Like, I can socialize with somebody and talk about
Right.
the day. And I would be like, I don't know. Like, I just feel bad. And I would start crying. He's like, you're fine. Like, just go for a walk, go do something. Like, like almost as if because he didn't know either at the time.
Right. No, you don't know until you go through it.
I don't know what to do for you. You're fine. You're probably just
Right.
anxious. Just
Right.
again, just stay busy.
Right.
So I did my best to stay busy. Went back to work in March, worked a lot,
Yeah.
worked a second job that summer too. Was able to take my daughter to my other job with me in the morning and then go into my other job late at night. She would be with her dad, or if my mom was able to come watch her so that Chris could work. It wasn't until September of 19 that I was like, something's still off. Then we started closing
So
days
how far
out,
out were you had her?
like 8 months.
So 8 months postpartum. Okay.
Yeah. That's when I started to realize something really is wrong because I'd never wanted to harm myself. I would just be like, wow, driving, it's a windy day. If I move up closer, maybe I'll be lucky and like a traffic light will just take me out. Or somebody will come up and just blow me up. Like just
Right.
random thoughts in my head.
And that's another thing. That's the intrusive thoughts that just go in, they come in your head and they scare you, but at the same time you're like, I just need to rest.
Mhm. But I knew I
Yeah.
wasn't alone. I was like, at that point too, I felt weird telling people, like, I would never harm myself. I'm happy. I would put on a really
Right.
good show. But then at home, I'd be crying, like, why am I weird? Why am I not normal? I kind of started to have resentment to my daughter for
Right.
having her and everything. But at the same time, like, this is what you wanted. Like, you have to be grateful for this.
So then you feel guilty.
I love it.
Second you mention that you're not okay or that you have these thoughts or that something's going on, you feel like you don't
Like,
want people's pity.
no.
Because that's like I hated that. I don't want people's pity. I just, you need somebody just to listen and to kind of guide you to, figure out what is going to help you the best. Because
Yes.
yeah, it's a very complicated
And then
feeling.
it wasn't until December of 19, so almost a full year of postpartum. Christmas is my favorite time of the year. We were
Yeah.
slowing down at work, probably working one shift a week, if that. And normally I have everything planned out. Like I want to go look at lights. I want to go to all these different like Christmas adventure thingies. And I enjoy wrapping the presents, listening to the music, watching all the classics. wanted nothing. Woke up at 2 a.m. one morning crying, Googling like hotlines to mental health and like just trying to get somebody that I felt comfortable to talk to. And I called this
Right.
random number. Lady answered, and we were doing like the 5 different things, 5 things you can see, 3 things you can touch, like all those random things to try to just regulate my brain. Yeah, like I'm not gonna
Yeah.
harm myself, but I just don't feel normal. I don't feel right. I wish
Right.
somebody would just end it for me because I would never do it to myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So then they helped get a hold of my mom. My mom came over. I called my uncle who also has been through like depression, anxiety, and everything. Called him and
Right.
I was like, I don't know what to do. I think I want to enter myself into like a mental hospital. I'm not okay. And that's when I
Yeah.
started to vent to everybody else. Like, I'm not okay. Something's wrong. Something needs to change. And he kind of helped talk me out of putting myself in somewhere.
Okay.
Just, then you'll miss your daughter's first Christmas. You're going to miss her first birthday. These are all the things that you've been looking forward to. He's like, I'm not going to tell you you can't do it if you really
Right.
feel like you need to. He's like, but I know we can help you first before doing that.
Right.
And at that point, I was like, you know what? I really haven't vented to many people.
Nobody really knows what's going on, so might as let them help first, and then if
Yeah.
you get to a point after that, yeah.
Then once that morning fully hit that my therapist was open, I called her. I went in
Okay.
and just completely lost it in there. And Chris came with me. So it was just me and him. My mom came over and stayed with my daughter. Chris took me to my therapist and I was just shaken, couldn't control myself, hyperventilating, everything. Um, I ended up going to the local hospital just to get something to relax my body so I can just collect my thoughts and figure everything out.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure that was during my episode when I called you freaking out. I
Yeah.
called my really good friend Erica freaking out, just saying like, I don't know what to do. Just
Right, and she had been through kind of postpartum because our friend Erica has had 4 kids.
four
So
kids. Yeah.
she knows, she kinda knows that a little bit better. At the time, I had not had any children yet. So, I was just going off of my experience from anxiety and panic disorder and depression. So it was, I gave you the best that advice that I could
And
because
that helped me feel comfortable calling you and Erica during those times when I'm sure I was just word vomiting so many different things, not even knowing exactly what I was saying.
yeah,
I felt like you guys were truly listening and not telling me like I was right or I was wrong, or you guys were just there over the phone, in person,
yeah.
no judgment, just doing your best to keep me sane.
And that's really all that you can do. That's all that you just want somebody to listen, and people,
Yeah.
I've heard people say that before, and, I think it's such an important part of the process going through, not just postpartum, but, any kind of mental health, but just things that you're going through that you just want somebody to listen to hear you out and not judge what you're dealing with.
And at that point too, like my mom was like, I never had postpartum. I didn't know what the signs were. Like I didn't know what the signs were either. Like I just felt
Right.
sad and alone and just not normal. Like I felt like
You
I
know
couldn't
something's
do
right not right. Yeah.
so then that winter, I didn't go on any medicine then. I went back
Mhm.
on birth control because at that time I was like, "Fuck that! I ain't having another kid. Like I'm not going through that."
Yeah.
And that kind of like I guess balanced out my hormones because then I was good.
Right.
But I stayed busy. My parents had me go to their shop every day. So I would pack my daughter up with a bunch of toys, her pack and play, and we'd hang out there in the morning, have lunch,
Yeah.
and then we'd go home. She'd go for her nap, and then I would just clean the house, get things done. Like we had a consistent routine of that, which I think
Right.
mentally. And then I was good until I had my son. That was in November of 21.
So you
Um,
went off of birth control for
yeah,
it. Yeah.
I think I was off of it for like a good year.
Yes. Hold on, I gotta give my son some tortillas. Go sit on the couch. Yes. Crunch, crunch.
Crunch, crunch.
Okay. So you went off of birth control.
Yeah.
What made you decide to go off of it?
I was like, "I'm good. I know the signs. I can handle this."
Right.
Little did I know that at that time, finding out I was pregnant while building our second house, while getting a second puppy, and having my second pregnancy, it
Yeah.
just added to chaos. So I was like, "That's fine. This is all good." Like,
Right.
pregnancy, I had no issues with. No morning sickness, nothing. I was totally fine.
That's
Pregnancy.
awesome. Yeah.
Labor, delivery, easy breezy. It's just postpartum that would hit me hard. So I was
Right.
like, all right, I at least know the signs. After I had my son, I went right back on birth control because I was like,
If
that's what I
that
felt
helps.
like what helped me. I was like, it'll help balance out my hormones or something. Like, I don't need any heavy
Yeah.
medicine. And all was good until he was November of 21. It was October of 22. We just
Okay.
moved into our new house, trying to get into a whole new routine. My daughter was in school. She was sick. I started panicking because she was sick. Then my son got sick. He wasn't even a year old. And then that just was the
Set it
tipping
off.
point. And that's when I realized, like, all right, you were pushing things off again. You were telling yourself you got this when you really didn't have
You
it.
didn't. Yeah.
My old pediatrician, which my kids see,
Okay.
bawling my eyes out on the phone to him. It's like, "I'm not okay. I need help. I don't know what to do. My kids are sick." He goes, "Is it for your kids you're freaking out or for you?" I go, "A little bit of both, but I think more for
Yeah.
me." He had a very good psychiatrist that he was actually supposed to see. Called her, got me in that day, and I think he canceled his appointment for me to go in. And I was there for like 3 hours talking to this lady, just bawling my eyes out. And I told her, I was like, "I don't wanna do medicine." And she was like, "We can do trials." Because at one point prior, before that, I did try Zoloft, and that made
Mhm.
me crazy.
Okay.
I was like, "Screw that, I'm not doing it."
Yeah, you kinda get a bad taste in your mouth for any kind of
And I told her
medication with
that. And she's like, "Well, who gave it to you?" And I go, "My primary at the time." She's like, "Do you still
right.
see her?" I go, "No, I didn't like her." She's like, "Okay, well, what else did they do?" I was like, "I don't know." She tried to start me on this high dose of the Zoloft, and it made me crazy that I was like, I just can't do this.
Right.
This is not for me. Like, I'd rather go natural." She's like, "Did she give you anything to, like, tranquilize you with it?" "What? But you need that too." I'm like, so I gave it another shot. She gave me another type of medicine to take with it
Okay.
and explained, like, how having anxiety, depression, everything going on the medication will heighten everything before it makes it better.
Yes.
And that's when you need, like, Xanax or clonazepam, hydroxyzine, whatever that is that you were
Right.
given to help calm your body so that you can control everything.
Yeah, see, my doctor didn't do that for me. I had a really bad trip the first night that I took it, I think it was. Like, the first day that I took it, I did not feel well. Like, the whole first week, I was just not feeling right, but I'm like, I don't know what else to do, so I think he gave me Xanax, like, not long after. Yeah, I don't I it hits you hard, even a lower dosage hits you because your body just doesn't know what's happening. It's all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like, the chemicals in your brain are regulated, and they were so far off, and now all of a sudden they're balancing out, and I felt really nauseous and just sick to my stomach and just not.
Like, I had no appetite, but I also didn't have the appetite from everything else going on. I would forget to eat, I would forget to drink, I did not take care of myself. And I told myself, like, "Oh, this postpartum journey after having my son is gonna be different. I know the signs, I know what to do." My mom was even like, "We know the signs, like, how are you doing?" She would cook dinner, come over, help me clean, just hang out, watch a movie. It was all helpful, but at the same time, wasn't what I needed. But at
Right.
that time, I was like, "This is great. This is exactly what I needed, the support."
And then
You
it
need support.
slowly and then it slowly creeps in on you, and you don't even realize it's happening, but, like, little by little, like, little things start kind of getting to you, and you start to realize that it's showing up in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's hard. So, from there, you started the medication, and you started taking a Xanax or Klonopin with it?
Yeah, I was Klonopin,
Okay.
and I would just take because I was nervous that I wouldn't wake up to the kids at night if I took
Right.
it, so
Right.
I would just take half a pill, and I slept on the couch so that I could make sure I hear the kids.
Right.
They tried to wake up, monitor full blast in my ear, and after, like, a full week of that and my mom also slept over the first 2 nights because I was nervous.
Okay.
Because my husband sleeps through everything. Air horn
Right.
to his ear, Christina, sleeps through it.
Stop. Are you serious?
Fire alarms go off in the middle of the night, I'm panicking, he sleeps through it.
Do that.
I don't know. And if he does wake up, he does not remember a thing. He's, like, literally a mummy, like,
Nothing. Yeah, he's
nothing.
not conscious in any helpful.
"What happened last night?" No.
Gosh, that's not helpful at
So, my mom is my biggest support system. Love my
I
husband,
yeah.
but she will come over at 3 a.m. if the kids are sick or if I'm just having a really bad panic attack,
Yeah.
and she will take care of me and my 2 kids.
Oh, that's such a
Or even if
blessing
Chris
to
is
have.
sick, I call my mom, like, he's sick, I don't know what to do," and she'll come over
Yeah.
and she'll just take care of him.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Bye.
That's amazing. It is really nice to have that, and, thankfully, my mom has been help now she's a little older now, and it's harder for her to do, to do that kinda stuff, but she's still I had, like, the really bad stomach flu a few months back, and I couldn't stop from one end to the other. It was in the middle of the night, I couldn't keep anything down. Like, it was a lot, it was bad. And I was afraid I was gonna pass out from dehydration, and she came over, my both of my parents came over, actually. My dad sat in the living room to listen for the kids, and she sat in the bed with me and just kinda stayed with me until I was like, "I just need to go to the hospital and get an IV because that's all I need."
Yeah.
But so now you're feeling better. So how long has it been now since you've been on medication?
Like 3.5 years.
Nice.
So, I feel really good with it. Like, this is for people at work, and I've been there for, what, 12 years or something? So for people at work to be like, "Oh my god, you're so fun, like, you're hysterical." I don't wanna say I have friends, but, like, I have friends that I like to be around and they like to be around me. I'm like, "This is probably from my medicine. This is the best I've felt in so long." I'm not timid to say things. I'm not afraid to go to people and ask for help. If people kinda get nasty with me, I'll get nasty back, and I'm like, "Oh my
It's
god."
kind of it makes you more outgoing. Like
Yes.
that's how, I feel like it made so I started medication back in 20 oh my gosh, where are we going now? It's 2014. I've been on it. 2014 I think I started on medication. And so I was 24, 23, 24 at the time. And it just kind of made me it again, I had that's obviously not postpartum, but I had anxiety, I had panic disorder really bad and intrusive thoughts and all of that. And, so I started taking it. It just kind of brought me out of my shell. Like I felt more like I could be myself the way that I was always wanted to be around
Yeah.
other people. Like I could be silly and carefree by myself or with like close friends, but when I was around, groups of people or even at work, I was timid and shy, and being, a restaurant manager, you cannot be that way. The medication definitely helped in my job and helped kind of deal with the crazy people. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better and you're doing a lot better now. I think medication is a great thing. I've been on it, like I said, for 12 years now. It's been extremely helpful. I've upped my dose a little, but I found that when I upped my dose, it made me much more forgetful, and just it has that effect where it's not, and you don't really care as much, like,
Yeah.
what's going on, and
I mean,
so
we really are already forgetful before that, so
exactly, exactly. So, especially with having kids, my kids are close in age. My two sons are only 19 months apart, and then I have an almost 6-month-old who's about 2 years younger than her middle sibling. So, I think just the back to back to back pregnancies have just done a havoc on my brain. It's just really hard for me to concentrate, to stay focused on a task, and to kinda just make intellectual decisions and, like, smart decisions and, you know, really kind of think about what I'm doing before I do it. It's been really difficult for me to do that, and it's affecting a lot in, my life, not just at work, but at home and dealing with things on a day-to-day basis. It's hard. The medicine kind of aggravates that, but if I've noticed, and I've tried over the years to try and wean myself off of it, because I'm like, I'm great. I feel fine. Like I don't
Yeah.
need medication anymore. And no, every time I try to do that, it backfires. And I'm doing it the right way. Like I'm weaning myself off slowly, but it seems that every time I try and do that, the panic attacks start coming back, the anxiety, just the overall sense of like nervousness. And that's not the state that I want to put my body in, because I was like that for so long, and it's just such a bad place to keep your body in. Like it's a constant state of stress. It's a constant state of feeling like you're this tight little ball that you can't relax from.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely exhausting. So, a big part of my postpartum, at least for this one, I have almost 6 month old is my first daughter. uh, I felt a lot more emotional during her pregnancy. Did you feel that way when you were pregnant with your daughter
Yes. Like, I
compared to your son?
compared to my son, pregnancy, I did feel more emotional.
Yeah.
I would cry over the littlest thing.
Yeah, like I just
I'm
feel
not a
like the
crier,
intensity. Yeah.
and just I don't know, I just felt very, very emotional.
Yeah, it's the intensity. I never got that way with my sons. It was just
No.
such an
And I know too, like, my cousin, she has 2 boys, 1 girl, but she
yeah.
went boy, girl, boy, and
Okay.
her first 2 are, like, 19 months apart, like your 2.
Yeah.
She was very sick with all of her pregnancies, but when she was pregnant with her daughter, I remember her husband being like, "I'm scared to live with her, like, she'll be fine, happy, cutting up potatoes for dinner," and then next thing she's like,
Yes.
he's like, "I'm scared for my life." And now watching her grow, I'm like, "Oh my god, is this what I have to, like, look forward to? Because 'Cause they're on an emotional roller coaster." Oh
Yeah.
gosh, no.
I know. It's really crazy. I feel like this overwhelming, just emotional roller coaster all every day. And like the later the pregnancy got, the more I felt it. And it was just my husband was the same way. He was scared. Zach was like, "What's going on with you? Like, why are you turning on me?" And it was just such the complete opposite of my sons, where with them, I felt like pregnancy was just calming, and it kind of made me relax and feel like good and all that. And thankfully I had no complications with any of the pregnancies or, any issues, but it was a lot. And I feel with this postpartum journey after having her, the postpartum rage has been pretty bad. Like I feel great most days, thankfully, but when I get upset about something or, usually with my husband, we just disagree because we're both very stubborn and strong willed. And I don't feel a normal amount of anger. I feel rage. I feel like I need to throw something or break something or kick something or just like punch a wall
We'll have to go
and
to
I
a
don't like doing that. What?
we gotta go to one of those smash rooms.
I know, like just start going at it. Like that's how I feel
Like,
like this
"You're yelling
overwhelming
at me,
sense.
jeez."
It's just this overwhelming sense of just like physical energy that I need to just get out. And
Mhm.
it's scary because he gets nervous. I don't like being like that. I don't want to be like that around my kids or him. And so I messaged one of my good friends who's a therapist, and I was like, "Do you have any good therapists that would, help me deal with all this?" She's like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "It's just the postpartum rage right now, and it's just it's for them. Like I said, for the most part, I'm fine, but there are those moments that get pretty heavy, and I don't like that.
And like you said, you don't want your kids to see it. I
No, I
do
don't.
feel like the mom guilt when it comes to with my oldest, that was my postpartum really bad time,
Yeah,
and now I feel like today she has, like, some issues with certain things and anxiety herself and just scared to be away from people. I mean, she's gotten much better with things. But I'm like, "Oh my god, did I cause this?" Because she would see, like, me when a child would cry, you're told to just go put them in their bed and walk away. So I'd be like, "Alright, well, that's what I'm gonna do." Like, did I cause all those things? Which I know I didn't,
You didn't. No.
but at the same time,
You can't help but think or
yeah,
wonder what if you did or what if, something you could have changed something.
the mom guilt all rushes in.
It all rushes in and it never really makes you feel like you've made the right decision. So
Mm,
it's difficult to know, what you're doing or what you're doing is the right thing to do. Like we spoke in the last episode, like you're working on that with her and you're working on it to, help her regulate and self-regulate and deal with situations. It's just crazy to me that a lot of this was never, none of this was ever discussed, a long time ago, and it was never
yeah,
something that people kind of dealt with. So how did they deal with?
yeah.
How did we grow up with, all of these things that nobody ever talked about?
From my many years of therapy for myself and now for my child, I'm like, "Mom, Dad, I think you have anxiety. I think you have
Yes,
anger issues. I think you have
yes,
this." My mom's like,
yes.
"No, I don't." I'm like, "Okay, so what is this all about?"
Like you might not think you have it, but all the signs are there.
Then I point out to all, like, my uncles, I'm like, "Well, Uncle so and so is like this, Mom, and your brother like this." She goes, "Don't you dare pick on my family." I'm like, "I'm just saying.
Yeah. Like they're
Hereditary."
my family too, and I'm just letting you know. It's nothing personal, but it's, it is good to deal with these things rather than kind of pretend like they're not real issues.
And that was something too I would always say, 'cause my mom's one of 9. They lived in a
Okay.
tiny little ranch.
Right.
I think it was smaller than my first house.
My
So
God.
11 people total, 1 bathroom. I was like, "How did you do that? How did grandma handle 8 boys, 1 girl?" She's like, "Oh, well, she would
Yeah.
have a broomstick, 2 actually, and that's how she would beat them if they were all fighting and everything." I'm like,
So not necessarily the way things should have been
"Yeah."
handled.
I'm like, "Well, does she have any postpartum issues?" She goes, "I don't know. We were all kinda like back to back to back." I'm like,
So
"Okay."
yeah, yeah, most definitely. But she didn't have the time to think about it or
No.
even process what was happening.
Just her a broom was her weapon of choice.
Was her
Now with
what?
your oldest and your middle, they're 19 months apart. Do you feel like you had true postpartum kinda in there compared to from after you had your middle and then your last?
No, no, because my oldest was one, barely one when he wasn't even one yet when I found out I was pregnant. And I was still taking Xanax or Zoloft. So I
Okay.
think that helped with that
You're taking that all
postpartum.
3, right?
Yeah, I took it throughout all 3 because I knew I had to. I needed to kind of keep myself regular, and I was great after I had my first. My oldest, I was, like, euphoric. I remember just, breastfeeding him and feeling just this overwhelming sense of love for him and just so happy that he was here, and I think it brought my husband and I closer when we had him, and I was like, "What are all the?" And I remember thinking to myself, like, "What are all these parents talking about, like, children causing issues between the, mom and dad?" And, like, I'm like, "This is great, like, we're fine, like, everything is awesome." And then I got pregnant right away, got pregnant, that short amount of time later, and then all my hormones changed again. Again, like, I didn't really have that bad. I had at the beginning intrusive thoughts, same thing, like, while I was driving, like, what if I just veered off? What if I just did this? Like, what if and I never had any intention of hurting myself, but I think it was like, well, what if you did this? What would happen if I just blacked out and it happened? Or, like, what would happen? Like, what would it feel like? Like, what would like,
Yeah.
and all these, like, crazy things going through my head, and I'm like, I tried to shake it off, and sometimes I could and sometimes I couldn't, and I would have to, kinda talk myself off the ledge, and a couple times and I did, I went to go see the doctor, and I think that's when, we decided that I was gonna go up on dosage a little bit, and I maintained that throughout until I got pregnant, and then after he was born in 2023, May of 2023, that was fine. I got pregnant again the following February, and I had a miscarriage. It was an early miscarriage, so that kinda sent me a little bit because we didn't necessarily know if we wanted a 3rd, but it's still hard,
Yeah.
and, like, that was a miscarriage before I was, like, it was really early, like 6 weeks. It was a miscarriage, and it just happened kind of on its own, and then, we were being safe and whatnot, and then I ended up getting pregnant again that October of 2024, and that one was rough because I found out something wasn't right with the pregnancy. I could feel it. And then I started bleeding and I was like, this isn't normal, So I took a pregnancy test after my bleeding had stopped. I was like, all right, I'm gonna take a pregnancy test. Obviously it should come back as negative or
Yeah.
very low levels of HCG. And when I took it after all the bleeding had stopped, I found that it was actually darker and it had come back like fully pregnant. And I'm like, well, this is not right. And as soon as that happened, it like clicked in my brain. I'm like, I'm having an ectopic pregnancy. I just knew it. I just could feel it. So between my first loss in February and then this was in October, I had that short period. It was extremely emotional. It was really, really hard. Even being on medication, it helped, but it was really hard. And
Yeah.
I had two kids at that point. So then I took myself to the hospital the next day or I think it was that day. And I was like, I think I'm having an ectopic pregnancy. They went in, they did a internal ultrasound. They said, "Listen, it's really early. We still can't see anything. There's like a little speck inside one of your tubes. It could be that, but we don't know. It's really too difficult, too early to see." So they're like, "Come back in a couple days, see how you're feeling. If you feel like you need to be seen again." So I did. So I went home. Everything was fine. That was on Monday. So everything was fine that week. And then Friday, my father-in-law was down. I think he was down or no,
It was right around
it was
Halloween, right?
it was right around Halloween. It was about a week before Halloween, and had breakfast, dropped my son off at school. Everything was cool. It was all good. My oldest, and had my youngest with me, and something was I didn't feel right. I had a lot of pain. It didn't go away, and the pain was starting to intensify. It was like this is not right. Something is really wrong. I was laying in all these different positions trying to make it get better, trying to see if it would go away on its own. I was laying on the floor on pillows, like warm pad on me. I'm like, this is not going away. It's just getting worse. So I called my husband. He was out. That's what it was. He was out fishing on the boat with the boys. And I went on the boat and I called him and I was like, you need to come home now. I think I need to go to the hospital. And so he came home and he stayed. I was like, you stay here. I was like, I'll take myself to the hospital. And I ended up driving about 30 minutes to the hospital that they wanted me to go to originally. My OB, that's where they're at. And so I drove myself in a lot of pain up to the hospital and waited a little bit, and then they got me in. I still remember it like it was yesterday, and the doctor came in and she said, "You're having an ectopic pregnancy and it ruptured and we need to remove it." And I said to her, and at that point my husband was coming. He had left the kids with my mother-in-law, and I just remember staring at her and being like, what do you mean? What?" Like, "Excuse me? You have to take out one of my tubes? Excuse me? No, 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 no." And my husband's like, "Yes, you do whatever you need to do to make sure she's okay, because obviously, if an ectopic pregnancy ruptures and comes out of your tube, it can that's it." Yeah. So, yeah. So, had to go in for emergency surgery that night, and after that, I was like and so I was terrified. I thought, "What happened?" So now I only have 1 tube left. I felt like part of me was gone, like, now all of a sudden a piece of me is just gone, and just like that, and, I'm like, "When am I never gonna be able to have kids again? Like, is it gonna make it more difficult?" Well, no, it didn't. 4 months 4 months later, I got pregnant, and, thankfully,
For
that
the
was
lady you.
thankfully, that was a very successful pregnancy, other than the emotional roller coaster that she put me through and is currently, and she's great, but just the postpartum. She just makes me so happy. She's just such a sweet little it just makes me, feel like I want more because at this point now, she's almost 6 months old. I feel like it's like the perfect age. They're learning all these new things. And it's just so exciting to see them, accomplish all these new feats. And it's just like, why, why can't it just go from birth to this,
Yeah.
and it really does. It goes, like, so fast, but it makes it
All
much
the
more.
in between can just go away.
Yeah, because the
Yeah.
beginning, like, after she was born, it was rough. I felt like my head was spinning, right after between having, a brand new baby, 2 other kids at home, and dealing with, the
And at
holidays
that
and
point, they're older, so they're in sports, they're in school, they're in
right. There's
just
just so many other things.
groups.
Like, I can't remember things to begin with the
Mm-mm.
medication and everything else, like, add on pregnancy and postpartum and having kids and all. If I do not do it in that moment or do not write it down or don't, like, text somebody about it right away,
Yeah.
forget it. I will not remember.
Don't wear my watch really anymore because I'll see a message, I'll be like, "Oh, okay," and then go to get my phone to answer,
And
that and
sidetrack.
the laundry went off, I'm
Yeah.
hungry, time to do the dishes, and then 3 weeks later, I'm like, "Oh my god, I'm sorry."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I don't even remember, like, you black out from
Yeah,
when the time you saw it to, like, the time that you see it again, and you're like, "What? I don't remember even seeing this message sometimes." Like, I don't
yeah,
even remember it coming through. It's just, so I think that's kind of added to my all of that, the chaos, and then ADHD on top of it, and just having all of that and just kind of feeling like a little out of sorts, want to accomplish so many things in a day, and it's like at the same, there's not enough
you
hours, but at
understand.
the same time, I want it to be over. I want
Yeah,
to go to bed because I can't wait to fall asleep. But thankfully, my daughter has been sleeping much better throughout the night.
and
So,
she'd be more than welcome to always come snuggle me in the middle of the night. Oh,
Holly, I'm gonna. Well, I was gonna have them all sleep over on Saturday night, but you're working.
so sorry.
No, I wanna do a sleepover this summer and get them all together. I think that that'll be fun. They'll enjoy it. So, thank you guys so much. This was a bit of a long episode, but there's always so much to talk about in this,
Always.
in this area. So, obviously, if anybody has any, stories or comments or anything that they want to, discuss or talk about, that's always something that we are excited to kind of bring in. And we want you guys to be interactive with us too.
Think
So,
next time we should talk about our unhinged mom moment.
I like that. I think that's a great. I'll start making the list right
Yeah.
now because it'll take me
And if
until
any
from
of
now.
you have any, let us know and we will read.
Yes, yes, please. If you have any unhinged mom moments that you would like to share that you feel are just such a strange thing that you reacted to or just did, please let us know. We would love to talk about it and kind of bring it up in next episode. Thank you
Yes.
guys for listening, and we'll be back for episode 4 in a week.
Wait, I have to stop.